underpants.
Bailiff, so note.
Doctor, what else can you tell me about Miss Saybrook's condition?
Well, in addition to the bruising on her neck and wrist, the victim had...
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
The patient had lacerations on her tongue.
And what could have been the probable cause of that cut?
From the position and angle, it appeared she'd bitten her tongue.
Well, we do that from time to time. Does it often result in a laceration such as the one Miss Saybrook sustained?
Well, Miss Saybrook's cut was a rather deep, rough cut, as if she'd bitten her tongue during a struggle, or perhaps as a result of a blow to the face.
Is there anything about Miss Saybrook's condition that made you feel like you were dealing with a probable rape victim?
Objection.
Probable. Your Honor, this witness's testimony is in specific context of a rape examination.
I'll buy it. Objection overruled.
Is there anything else that made you feel like you were dealing with a possible rape victim?
Her mental state. She was brought in barely able to speak. She was clearly in great physical and emotional distress, and frankly, few people would submit themselves to the kind of examination Miss Saybrook objected to unless they had...
Conjecture.
Sustained.
Dr. Shelia, is it safe to say Miss Saybrook's behavior was consistent with that of other rape victims?
I would say so, yes.
Did Marty Saybrook inform you of her medical condition?
She wasn't in any condition to inform me of anything, but I did have her chart.
Oh, did her chart tell you that she suffers a chronic illness?
Lupus? Yes, it did.
Objection, Your Honor. Complainant's previous condition is not relevant here.
Well, it could be, Your Honor, if I would be allowed to explore the subject.
Proceed, but with care.
Thank you. Dr. Shelton, correct me if I'm wrong, but for the sake of the jury, lupus is a disease of the autoimmune system. It causes the body's natural defenses to attack the body itself as if it were a foreign invader. Dr. Shelton, can lupus cause someone to bruise more easily than the average person? Can it, in fact, in and of itself cause bruising?
I'm not by any means an expert on lupus patients. My specialty...
Yes, but you are somewhat familiar with symptoms of lupus.
Somewhat.
I'll repeat. Do lupus sufferers often bruise easily?
They can. My experience in those cases
Yes,
is
we
limited.
understand that, Dr. Shelton. Thank you. Now, given that Marty's bruises could very well have been caused by her lupus and are certainly not inconsistent with a night of willing sex with several partners in a very short span of time, wouldn't it be fair to say that it's very likely that there was no violence against Marty Saybrook that night?
Objection, Your Honor.
That there's no evidence to support the charges of rape?
Your Honor, objection.
Miss Gannon.
I'm sorry. Withdrawn.
Your Honor, the record?
I'm sorry, Mr. Gannon. Please strike Miss Gannon's last two questions and the witness's answers. The jury is instructed to disregard the defense's last two questions.
Your Honor, may I approach the bench? Your Honor, we all know the jury is not going to disregard counsel's remarks.
I can't erase it from their memories, Mr. Gannon.
I withdrew. Hank, let it go.
Look, I am intimately familiar with Miss Gannon's courtroom technique and would ask the court to caution her against this kind of grandstanding.
I'll do my best. But as you know, it's all in the game, Counselor.
Yes, Counselor. It's all in the game.
There will be a 10-minute recess.
That's quite an act, Gannon versus Gannon.
Rape advocate.
Yes.
Was Miss Saybrook's condition consistent with what you've come to expect in rape cases?
Yes.
Did you ever doubt the patient's veracity?
Objection, speculation.
The witness is an expert. I'm asking for her professional opinion.
I'll allow the question.
No. I never doubted Marty's claim that she was raped.
But if Miss Saybrook were consumed with guilt and regret. Mightn't you have misconstrued the cause of her distress?
No. I've been a rape advocate for 3 years. I've trained for the position. And I've dealt with scores of women who have been raped. There's no question in my mind that Marty Saybrook was raped.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth was planning on calling Reverend Andrew Carpenter.
Sorry. I apologize, Your Honor. I had a small family crisis I had to attend to. I'm sorry.
Take a moment to catch your breath. We're not going anywhere. A glass of water?
Yes. Thank you. You okay so far?
All of a sudden, I'm a lot more nervous. Andrew's gonna do everything he can to protect you. He's one of Hank's key witnesses. I know, but up until now, all the witnesses have been, cops and the doctors and therapists like you, Sheila. It's been so clinical. And I know you're all behind me, but it's like they've been talking about this faceless woman without a name. But when Andrew starts to testify, me he's going to be talking about. The real me.
Reverend.
He's the kind of person that this jury really needs to believe. So for me, this trial is just getting started right this minute.
I do.
I'm scared.
You stated that on the morning after the spraying plane at Kappa Alpha Delta, you opened your rectory door and there was Marty Saybrook on your doorstep. Can you tell us what happened next?
She just stared at me. Maybe it was because she finally saw a friendly face, but she just fell apart. And that frightened me, so I reached out a hand to comfort her, not really knowing what was wrong, and then she jerked away as if she couldn't bear the thought that someone would touch her.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness is drawing conclusions.
Sustained.
Thank you.
You're doing just fine. Now, just tell us what you saw and what you heard.
I asked her what was wrong. And she couldn't even speak. The only thing that came out of her were these muffled sobs. I asked her if she was hurt. It looked like she might have been in an accident. Her neck was bruised. Clothes were torn. Her hair was matted down. I asked her if she was mugged. She shook her head no. And then it was as if I had gotten socked in the gut. I realized that she had been raped.
Objection, Your Honor. Was the Reverend socked in the gut, or is he offering up another metaphoric conjecture?
Objection sustained.
Thank you.
When you realized what happened, do you mean that Miss Saybrook made it clear at last that she was sexually assaulted?
She made it very clear. She had been raped.
Hey, Steve.
You've told us Marty Saybrook is a parishioner of yours?
Yes, that's right.
Is she the same parishioner who started a very ugly and untrue rumor about your sexuality last summer?
Objection, Your Honor. That question is irrelevant. Miss Saybrook's past behavior is not on trial here, despite Miss Gannon's constant attempt
I am
to
not
drag it in.
talking about Miss Saybrook's promiscuity here. I am talking about her honesty.
Objection.
This whole case revolves entirely around the question of veracity. There are no eyewitnesses. There are just the defendants and Miss Saybrook herself. So Miss Saybrook's history of truth-telling, or the opposite, is very relevant.